All right, Transformers, we're back here again. I'm Dr. Angelo Reynolds Sr., and I'm live with you today. Hopefully you guys have thought about some of the things that I talked about yesterday. Hoping that you all were able to come up with some questions specifically that will relate to the whole notion of obstacles and or encouragement or lack thereof. And so for those persons who did respond to us yesterday and today, we thank you. So we want to go ahead and jump right in. Those persons feel free to make comments, also give us feedback, ask questions as we're moving forward with this week's transformational vitamin of, you guys tell me, obstacles and encouragement. Okay, yes, it is an amazing day. It's a wonderful day. The air is beautiful. I'm feeling great. People are feeling great. It is a great day. So let's get started. So the question was posed yesterday as to obstacles and challenges. Obstacles and challenges. And what obstacles and challenges are you faced with? Someone just posted about politics. If you are having a decisive obstacle of who to vote for, which candidate to vote for, that's another whole issue. I'm Dr. Angelo Reynolds Sr., and we are live from the Transformers Academy. We're with you every single day on Periscope. We come to you on the confines of your home live every single day because we begin our day with you, sending out a transformational vitamin, something to affirm, some things that you want to go after, obtain, and move forward with some things that you've shared with us. Okay, so yesterday, let's get started. We began talking about obstacles and encouragement or lack of encouragement. And so the question that was posed to me today, someone sent an email from, don't know exactly where it was from, but it came in, and the lady asked a very good question, and I'm glad she did. She says, how do I begin to overcome some of the obstacles that she's bringing with her from her past? I think that is a wonderful question, and I guarantee you that is the question of many other people who are either watching or are thinking about the whole obstacles. See, many times what happens is that we allow our past to dictate our future. And so if you've had a past where there's been a lot of obstacles and challenges that you were unable to overcome, well, what happens is those things sort of linger on into the future. And so you may be a person today who had some obstacles in the past, whether it was family issues, addictions, something that kept you from moving forward and getting something that you had sought out for so long. And so if that's you, or if you're dealing with some obstacles right now, I want to make sure that we give you something that you can use to help jumpstart and head in the direction of overcoming those obstacles, because you can do it. I believe that we have a solution to every problem. It may not be always the most remote and easy thing, but I believe that there is a solution for every problem. Just like I believe every obstacle can be overcome. Every single obstacle. I don't care what it is. There is a will and a way you can do it. Okay, so how do we begin to think differently about moving and getting over these obstacles? And so I'm going to give the example that the lady asked this morning as she sent in. She says, how do I get rid of these past obstacles of building relationships? She said she's had a difficult time of building relationships, bonding with people outside of her home, inside of her home. And so what happens is the lack or the obstacles of building relationship goes from one extreme to the next. Let me give you an example. So if she's having difficulty with relationships in her own home, I believe everything begins from home before we go outside. And so she's having a time with building relationships. So now she gets out into the world, in her job, on her job, in the communities, wherever she may partake, majority of her time outside of her home. And so now the difficulty is being able to bond with other people. And so I sent her a question and she didn't answer, but I sent her a note. And I told her that I believe, based off what she sent to us, was that there may be a lack of communication that she's unable to translate between her and the people that she's dealing with. See, ultimately times the communication link is broken or it's not strong enough to be able to bring bonds together. Let me give you another example. People who have a difficulty saying positive things, bringing positive things to an environment, who are used to, if it's sunshine outside, they say it's going to rain later. If it's warm outside, they say it's going to get cold tonight. There's always something that, unfortunately, these people are able to turn a good situation into a bad. And so what I believe with her is that she's unable to communicate whatever it is that she wants to transcribe to the parties. Okay, that may be something that she needs to really work on, starting with home. Communication is a big piece, and we all know it. I believe that the challenges of communicating or not, or lack of, is just a matter of being able to project, and a lot of people have a difficult time with this, being able to project what it is you're trying to say, trying to do, or you want someone to acknowledge. And ultimately times, it's not about a large vocabulary, it's about just really taking the things that are on your thought process and sending those messages out so that it is effectively received on the other side. Okay, all right, so I'm hoping that she's watching tonight. I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that I can dialogue with her a little further. But let's get into this evening about some obstacles that you may be having and how we can begin to address. I'm gonna give you 3 things, as always give you 3 things from each broadcast that you can use to begin to overcome those obstacles and get moving with things that you want. These are universal. So you may be saying, well, I'm having some obstacles with my job, my career. I'm having some obstacles with my spiritual growth, my health. There's some obstacles there that I need to get intact. My relationships, everything, anything. These things are universal that you can use. Okay, so number 1, when we begin to think about overcoming obstacles, and I always say this, probably not necessarily in any sequential order, but the one thing that we have to be able to do is, number 1, in defeating and overcoming obstacles, is to, 1, acknowledge that it is an obstacle. Acknowledge that there is a problem and that this is an obstacle. If it's something that is prohibiting you or in your way of getting something that you've sought after or set to do, that is an obstacle. That is something that is in the way, don't care what it is, that's prohibiting you from getting to where you want to get to. You name it, you say it, you identify what it is, okay? Number 2, so number 1, we've got identified. Number 2 is have the willingness and desire. Have the willingness and the desire to be able to address what has been identified so we can begin to work on it. Well, you say, well, that's not, okay, well, that's sentimental, that's easy. Well, it may not necessarily be as easy as possible, because we're talking about coming out of our comfort zone. We're talking about coming out of feeling comfortable, because anytime we begin to have the willingness and desire to change something, we're now coming outside of that box that we're used to. And anytime that we come out of the box, it's an uncomfortable feeling. And so the willingness and desire, that means wanting to overcome whatever that challenge is, willing and having the desire to do something about it, not just talking about it, but doing something. Are you willing? Because if you're willing, you're able. Okay. And finally, number 3 is the application. I always talk about this because all the information that we talk about becomes useless unless we can identify those things, but more importantly, apply them. How do we apply the information that we're getting? Because the information that we're giving to you, it's non-void unless you use it. How many times have you heard something, read something, seen something, or someone said something to you that was so vital, but at the end of the broadcast, the book, or whatever, it just kind of went out in space? That happens all the time. That's why before the broadcast, I always say to you all, let's write these things down, because we can go back, look at the broadcast, and clearly see some of the things that you can begin to work on. Okay, so you're with me. I know you're there. Let's recap. Again, for those persons who may be coming on, who may be watching this later, I'm Dr. Angelo Reynolds Sr. This is Transformers Academy. We come to you every day at 7 p.m. You go to Twitter, you follow us, and you make sure that you sign up with the app on your phone so that you can have the broadcast with us daily. Next week, actually not even next week, we're going to begin broadcasting several times a day. We've got a way that now we've set the phones and so forth and the time so that we can join you all throughout the day. So you'll be alerted as to when we're coming on. We're going to keep everything in sync. The vitamin of the week will start, and then we'll go through the rest of the week. Okay, so are you there? Okay, we'll run through this one more time quickly. The 3 things I'm giving you tonight to begin to overcoming these obstacles and start to work on them. 1 is address. Identify that there is an obstacle or challenge or something in your way. Number 2, I want you to begin to apply these things, okay? Apply these things. And 3, the willingness and desire to overcome those challenges, okay? I hope that you have that. I hope this resonates with you, but more importantly, I hope you use them. At this time, if you have questions or comments, this is a good time to send those in. Send your comments, your questions in. There has to be a question that you may have pertaining to obstacles. And if you're one of those persons who haven't had any challenges, any obstacles, obviously this may not be for you. But I'm sure if you're not the person that is directly affected by a challenge or obstacle, then you know someone who is, okay? So we can close out the broadcast tomorrow, if it's God's willing. I shall return, and hopefully you take these things down, and that tomorrow, as we come on aboard again, we'll begin to identify some more things that you can do. Use those things that you got tonight, but tomorrow, implement those things. As soon as you get off the phone, start thinking about those things that you can do to overcome that obstacle, okay? And not to mention the encouragement or lack of, something we will talk about tomorrow. Okay, so we'll close out. I'm Dr. Angelo Reynolds Sr. Catch me on the social media aspect, all of the social media stuff. Go to YouTube, watch this video later on, share it with your family. Make sure you take something from it, if it's only 1 or 2 things. And always, as we leave, I always say, bring love, bring joy, love someone, embrace someone. Make a difference in the world by impacting and loving someone. Share your love, embrace someone, and bring joy to others. And I guarantee you, if we begin to take small steps like that, the bigger steps will come later on, and we'll begin to see a difference in this world. I know you all can do it. You're conquerors, you're champions, you're transformers in the making that can do a whole lot to impact this world. I know you're there because you wouldn't be paying attention to me right now. Until tomorrow, if it's God's willing, I will see you all tomorrow. Go to the website. Send us your information, DrAngeloReynolds.com. Subscribe to the Transformers list. We'll be looking for you. And if God's willing, I'll see you all tomorrow. And make sure you begin to apply those things. Have a good night.